Hi friends! I'm so glad that you're back to listen to another story this week. So the story that I'm going to read to you this week is a story about never giving up. And the story is called Giraffes Can't Dance by Giles Andreae and Guy Parker Rees. So let's get started. Giraffes Can't Dance. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees, but when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now every year in Africa they hold a jungle dance where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. The warthogs started waltzing and the rhinos rocked and rolled. The lions did a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel, and 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked towards the floor, but the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. Hey, look at clumsy Gerald, the animals all sneered. Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird. Boy, that wasn't very nice, was it? Look at poor Gerald. I think he must be feeling pretty sad, right? That those animals are not being very kind. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. They're right, he thought. I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot. So he crept off the dance floor and he started walking home. He never felt so sad before. So sad and so alone. Look at how sad he looks. And those animals that were laughing at him, they were not being kind. Then he found a clearing and looked up in the sky. The moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh. Excuse me, coughed a cricket who had seen Gerald early on, but sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to. So Gerald's he looks like he's listening to the music. And with that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing things. His hoofs had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing round. He threw his legs out sideways, and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leaped up in the air. Gerald felt so wonderful. His mouth was open wide. I am dancing. Yes, I'm dancing. I am dancing, Gerald called. And look at how happy he looks and confident. Then, one by one, each animal who had been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle. We must be in a dream. Gerald's the best dancer that we've ever seen." How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and he looked up at the moon and stars above. We all can dance, he said, when we find music that we love. Well, I hope you enjoyed my book that I read this week, and I hope that you were able to see that Gerald never gave up. Even when the animals were not being very kind to him, he kept trying, and at the end of the story, he was able to dance like he wanted to. So I'll see you next week for another story. Bye, friends.